Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. So today I want to talk about the Xfactor judge who destroyed her career live on telly. I've had quite a lot of people request that I do this video, so I thought, let's give it a go. So before we get into watching the clip, I just want to give you a little backstory on Natalia Kills and Willie Moon. Natalia and Willie were judges on the Xfactor New Zealand in 2015. Natalia Kills was an up-and-coming performer. She had performed with the likes of Katy Perry, Kesha and the Black Eyed Peas. She'd written songs for Madonna and Rihanna, and she'd established a good relationship with will.i.am and was signed to his record label. She had top 40 hits, and she was even nominated for a Grammy for the Rihanna song Kiss It Better. So guys, she really was a star on the rise. Willie Moon was also an up-and-coming artist, and he had had success with his song Yeah Yeah. It peaked at number 26 in the charts and was also featured on multiple advertising campaigns. So he was another rising star, and people were really excited to see them on the judging panel that year. On the first week of the live shows, Joe Irvine, a normal guy just trying to make it big on the talent show, sang Cry Me a River, and Natalia and Willie were not too happy about it.
I, as an artist who respects creative integrity and intellectual property, I am disgusted at how much you have copied my husband.
I mean, whoa, that was harsh. Originality, the guy was just wearing a suit and almost the same suit as the host. So did that make the host a doppelganger too? For me, the comments seemed contrived and they seemed like they didn't make any sense. No one in their right mind would really say that. Joe didn't seem at all fazed by the nasty, hateful comments made by Natalia and Willie. To some extent, he sort of looked happy about it. But then again, he was probably in shock. Can you imagine standing on stage and someone saying those sort of things to you? Now, I think the whole situation was probably a publicity stunt to perhaps manufacture an underdog narrative. So, Joe would have progressed further and further into the competition, public support on his side, and it would have looked great. Or it could have been that the production team expected Joe to lose his cool, and that would have made some monumental headlines. But what happened next was a shock to everyone. Natalia and Willie's nasty comments led to widespread condemnation on social media. A petition was started to get them fired from the show, which received nearly 100,000 signatures in less than 24 hours. The next day, the pair were fired from the show. Natalia and Willie are not allowed to talk about whether it was a set-up publicity stunt or defend their actions in any way because of a wide-reaching NDA that they both signed. But in a video taken by a member of the audience at the live show, Natalia can be seen furiously reading something before she gives Joe her opinion on his performance. A script, maybe? Unfortunately, Natalia will never be able to tell us whether she was or wasn't reading a script that day, because if her or Willie disclose any information about the TV show, they will be subject to massive fines. All of the judges on reality TV shows and some of the contestants are subject to gag orders in the form of NDAs. So if you are ever wondering why a person isn't speaking out, the likelihood is they've got one of these gagging orders. But that's not to say what Natalia and Willie did was okay. Prompted or not, it definitely wasn't okay. What Natalia and Willie said to Joe, in my opinion, was arrogant, naive and childish. But when you compare it to some of the things that Simon Cowell has said to contestants on the show, such as,
"It's the way you look that's putting us off."
Did we have a bigger stage this year?
She's got like a Frenchie
Forget
power.
Frenchy, she's like France.
You look a little odd, your dancing is terrible, the singing was horrendous, and you look like one of those creatures that live in the jungle with those massive eyes. What are they called? Bush baby.
You are sick.
Simon, you're crazy.
If I was looking to hire a rug, I would hire you tomorrow.
I mean, come on, some of the things that he's said and some of the reactions he's had are appalling, and they're destructive on so many levels, and he has never had to face the repercussions of his actions. And for me, when you look at reality TV as a whole, what Natalia and Willie did is comparatively insignificant. I want to just point out that all of the hate is almost solely directed at Natalia, and she has received hate since that episode aired in 2015 and still does to this day. I've had a look at her social media profiles, and a lot of the hate she receives is racial slurs and rape and death threats. And yes, her behaviour did warrant negative reactions from the general public, but the kind of hate she has received has crossed the line of what is acceptable. So let's take a look at this picture of Joe Irvine and Natalia Kills, apparently taken after that episode aired. It does point to the whole thing potentially being a publicity stunt, and it leads me to think that Natalia was thrown under the bus when it backfired. But the show still benefited from the worldwide exposure of the incident from the behaviour that the show itself encouraged. I mean, the ratings for the show were pretty low, 300,000 views on average, and the Xfactor are renowned for looking for headlines when the ratings are dropping. Gary Barlow, in his book A Better Me, talks about it.
In his book, he states, "The only thing anyone cares about in that building is the X Factor. They won't mind throwing you under the bus, using you to get a headline, feeding you a line that will end your career, as long as the X Factor gets a mention." Employed a guy to watch his back to make sure that he didn't make any career-ending mistakes because he knew how cruel the show could be. He then goes on to give an example of how far the show will go. "I hate all that manipulative nonsense, but the viewers love it. They lap it up. Most of the beef on the show was a load of tabloid friendly. About half an hour before the show goes live, the producers would come in and they'd go, 'Oh my God, that Misha, she's a bully. Can't believe it. She's such a bully. In fact, you know what? You should say it. You should say it on air. She's just bullied everyone all week.'" Of course, Gary Barlow was knowingly enabling the situation because knowing what he knew, he still chose to take part in it.
I think that the quotes that I just read you show that Gary Barlow went into the X Factor with his eyes wide open. He was fully aware of the manipulation that goes on and the devastation it can cause. He made a conscious decision to take part in a show that he knew was inherently malicious and has no morals when it comes to the treatment of its contestants and judges. And he was complicit. His book clearly shows that. And as long as he covered his own back and didn't say anything to incriminate himself, then everything would be okay. But, and this is a big but, I don't think that all of the judges who take part in these type of reality TV shows understand how lacking in morals and empathy the production team are. I don't think that they understand that not only are they not looking out for the contestants' well-being, they're not looking out for the celebrity judges' well-being either. Natalia tweeted this around the time of the incident. Natalia seems to think that TV bullying isn't really bullying, and it is. It is an extreme form of public humiliation. It is the worst kind of bullying for its victim. And now Natalia is a victim of extreme public bullying herself. And it really grieves me to know that she didn't understand what she was doing, and there was no one there to protect her or protect the contestants of the show. One big problem that I see when it comes to reality TV judges, and that tweet definitely confirms my suspicions, it's as if they don't distinguish between their paid pantomime roles and the real life events that are happening to the contestants in front of them. And I can see why, because the judges are actors being paid to play the part they've been told to play, reading their lines and being told by the production team who they do and don't like, and they don't expect repercussions for their actions. Why? Because they are paid actors, and while they are playing that part, they forget one extremely crucial detail. They are dealing with real, normal people, and what they end up taking part in is influential, large-scale bullying. And it's the Xfactor's job to ensure that everyone is safe in their environment, that the actors can get on and act, and the contestants can take part. But of course, the Xfactor production team are extremely aware of this, and yet they still encourage their judges to say extremely nasty things to the contestants and even prompt them in the direction they would like the narrative to go in. Now, I'm not saying that any judge on any reality TV show is justified to say any nasty, hateful comment that they want just because a producer told them to. They must take responsibility for their actions too. But it is the production company's job to keep everybody safe, not manipulate narratives and situations that are detrimental to the people involved. These sorts of reality TV shows they're poisonous, and they are run by people who lack empathy, and we need to stop supporting them. Natalia and Willie did wrong, but it is such a shame that an individual had to take the brunt of what was obviously a company decision. I think this should start another conversation about the safety of everyone involved in reality TV shows, and I think that the production companies and the people involved in making the decisions should be the ones held accountable. It's such a shame that a talented, beautiful, people who've met her say lovely woman will have to live with being Natalia Kills, the nasty judge from the Xfactor, for probably the rest of her life, when it was a company decision that could have been prevented. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I'll be putting out more covers and some other sorts of videos in the week, and I'll see you all soon.